historical Arctic outbreak over the Gulf Coast from 2 years ago, 2021. There is a 1-minute introduction and then the podcast. The following podcast was given February 14th. The year was 2021. This was right before the 18-inch snowstorm that hit West Rogers Park, 10 inches at O'Hare Airport. More importantly, was given during the Arctic outbreak the coldest Arctic outbreak over Texas, winter storm across the Gulf Coast. Every county in Texas was under a winter storm warning. This podcast is hard to find. It's a rarity. It happened to have become popular on YouTube, so I've placed it onto here. I hope everybody enjoys. There's an enormous amount of other very interesting facts that take place throughout this podcast, including fascinating stuff going on in Africa, Mexico, and throughout the rest of the world. Strong storm system of 29.5 inches located over in the southern Missouri area, moving across southern Illinois, is producing a major winter storm across parts of Texas and even Arkansas, Louisiana. These are states going all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Some of these areas have not seen winter storm warnings for years. Brownsville, Texas is under a winter storm warning, believe it or not. That's really amazing. It's the first time in 10 years. Some of these places in Texas are seeing the coldest temperatures since 1989, and some of them are seeing the coldest temperatures in over 100 years. Oklahoma, temperatures dropping under 10 below. Very, very cold air, Arctic air, making it all the way down to Houston, Texas. The temperatures drop down to 12 degrees by Tuesday morning in Houston, Texas. That's super cold. Temperatures going down into the 20s in New Orleans. But the main story for tonight is the snowstorm and the ice storm. Freezing rain, sleet, and snow throughout probably the entire state of Louisiana and throughout Texas. Freezing precipitation is even expected all the way down into Brownsville, Texas. Some of those places which were in the mid-90s just a week ago or 2 weeks ago are now going to be getting freezing precipitation. It's quite amazing. Today's high temperature, this is totally remarkable. High temperature today was 94 degrees in 3 different cities in Georgia. Now, the National Weather Service says the high was 90 in a place in Florida, but there were actually 3 different cities in Georgia that hit 94 degrees. These are cities which are ahead of this storm system, and they are under south winds. Another thing to keep in mind is that we're already in mid-February. That means we're about 7 weeks off of the winter solstice, so the ultraviolet index in the sun is really heating up right now. In fact, here in Chicago, in January, the highest it can ever get to is a 1, but now it's already at a 3. And a 3, you could already get suntan and stuff like that. So by the end of this week, when the warmer temperatures come in, which, by the way, we are getting warmer temperatures here in Chicago, and we're even going to get some sunshine, the forecast ultraviolet index here in Chicago is actually going to be a 3, and many people could get a suntan when the ultraviolet index is at that level. In any case, the rest of the country, we have winter storm warnings all over the place, really all over the place. The storm track has gone a little bit further northwest than originally thought yesterday. The storm is also stronger than what was originally thought yesterday. Therefore, Chicago has been placed in a winter storm warning. 8 to 12 inches of snow. Lekule Alma, I believe everyone agrees to this. 8 to 12 inches of snow. Higher amounts are also possible. And here's the deal. The Chicago area is about to get snow with a snow-to-water ratio of 20 to 1, or as the Northern Indiana National Weather Service puts it, anywhere between 18 to 22 to 1. We don't get snow like that very often. I think we have been getting snow like that over the past week. It's super powdery stuff. About 0.2 to 0.4 of snow of water equivalent is what's expected in places like in northern Indiana. That would bring snow totals up between 4 and 8 inches. Here in Chicago, they are expecting a heavy a heavy band of lake snow to set up right across the city of Chicago. It's going to start off in northwest Indiana tonight, but it's gradually going to move west. Sometimes those things do that. They move west, and it's actually going to set up right over the Chicago area. And if that does, those things are not always so predictable, or at least the predictions are not always so accurate. But you have to realize we have extremely cold air going over the waters of Lake Michigan. So whatever does happen, the snow is going to be heavy, really heavy. If there should be a band of lake effect snow that sets up over our area, you could expect heavy lake effect snow probably tomorrow morning, 6 or 7 a.m. There also might be another band of heavy snow moving in tomorrow evening. It could be that some of the precipitation may stop during the day tomorrow. Total storm accumulations again between now and Tuesday morning, 8 to 12 inches, but some areas will be getting higher amounts. And the reason why the amounts are so high is two reasons. It's number one, the snow to water ratio is very, very high. So this stuff piles up real quick. Some areas might be getting snowfall at the rates of 1 to 2 inches an hour. Number two, it's the lake effect. The actual storm is, for the most part, is staying south of us. The highest amounts of 8 to 12 inches are basically in central Illinois. Then they kind of go down, and then it goes back up towards 12 inches here in the Chicago area. We're going to see lots of wind. By the way, there's a blizzard warning, which is in effect for Texas right now. Areas in Texas are under a blizzard warning. It's the only place in the country which has a blizzard warning right now. With the most dangerous warnings right now in effect are probably the air quality alert, which continues to be in effect for Fairbanks, Alaska, and the avalanche warning, which is in effect for several areas in Utah. At least it's that National Weather Service, it's the Salt Lake City National Weather Service that is reporting these avalanche warnings. They don't make the avalanche warnings. It's some other organization that does that, but they are reporting it. Now here, I would say the two most remarkable things of the weather today and yesterday. Number one, I mentioned 94 degrees in 3 different cities in Georgia. That's mid-90s, and we're holding in the month of mid-February. And you know what? If it's going to be in the mid-90s, they need a round of applause. And a cheer. Okay, so it's in the mid-90s in those 3 cities. Texas, I don't know what to do about that. The whole state is under a winter storm warning. Is that a round of applause? Because they're scared. I'm sure they're scared. But a lot of people are probably really happy because they don't really get to see snow so much. But this year, they have been getting a lot of snow over there. So we're not going to do a round of applause for them. But in any case, out on the West Coast, we have serious heat that's going to be starting to build throughout this week. By the end of the week, temperatures are going into the low 90s in Palm Springs, California. Now, there's also, by the way, another storm system. This one's actually stronger and deeper, which will be developing in the middle part of this week. I don't know if it's going to be hitting Chicago or not. It probably won't, or if it does, probably just the northern edge. That's what I think. But in any case, that storm system is going to be intensifying to a barometric pressure of 29.3. The chances are that the majority of the energy of that storm is going to be taking shape on the East Coast. It's going to shift over to the East Coast from the Louisiana area. I think what is important to do, I don't know if it's important or not, but we have, let me get it out right here. There's some cities here, which there's some remarkable stuff. Okay, the city is Whitesburg, Georgia. The high temperature today was 94 degrees. Tonight it's going down to 43. The high tomorrow, 49 degrees. So today's high was 94. Tomorrow's 49. Tomorrow night going down to 30 degrees. And then Tuesday night going down to 25 degrees. Temperatures back into the mid 60s by a week, by next Tuesday, a week next week. Okay, that's Whitesburg, Georgia. The 94 degrees is what's most remarkable. I would be very curious to see if they had humidity over there, because Georgia usually gets humidity, but I wonder, like, how can you hit 94 with humidity this time of the year? Well, you never know. Okay, now we're going to quickly mention Wolfsburg, Germany. Nothing that amazing, but in Wolfsburg, Germany, they're also getting snow. I don't know how much, but the snow, it looks like, will be changing over to rain. The low this morning was 11 degrees. Temperatures are going to become much warmer as the week goes on. Temperatures rising into the mid 50s. And that's nothing really that remarkable. Some of the hot spots, India is starting to get hot again. In Ahmedabad, India, temperatures going up to 96 degrees by next week. Compare that to Aurora, Illinois, where temperatures are going down to 4 below tonight, 5 below Tuesday night, and the final sub-zero temperature Friday night. Saturday morning, 1 below. But then the warmer temperatures come in. Temperatures go back into the 30s Sunday onward. And Chicago will be seeing their last sub-zero night tonight, or maybe even it was, 2 below for tonight. We have snow, and we have warmer temperatures coming in for the weekend. Guadalajara, Mexico is another one of those cities where you have a 40-degree temperature difference between night and day. Temperatures by Friday or by Thursday, highs in the low 80s. Thursday morning, temperature will be around 39. High temperature Thursday, 81 degrees. Low temperature by Shabbos morning, temperature 42. High temperature 84 degrees. Temperatures going into the upper 80s by next week. Austin, Texas is going down to 7 degrees tomorrow night. So Tuesday morning, temperature will be 7 degrees. A week later, highs in the upper 70s, high of 78 degrees. That's another city that will be getting snow. The real warm-up comes starting Friday, highs in the mid-40s, and Shabbos low 60s, Tuesday upper 70s. Quite amazing. Orlando, Florida is just beautiful right now. There's some thunderstorms, probably severe thunderstorms even. Temperatures in the mid-80s, lows in the low 70s. The cool spell hits them later in the week, especially Friday night with lows in the mid-40s. Now, speaking of thunderstorms, this is the other thing, which is probably the most remarkable thing I've ever heard. In Albuquerque, New Mexico yesterday, there was a snow squall, heavy snow, and a severe thunderstorm warning because the lightning was so deadly. The lightning was so deadly in this snow squall, they issued a severe thunderstorm warning. Can you imagine that? A severe thunderstorm warning in a snow squall. That was quite amazing. That stuck out. Dallas, Texas. There's snow over there, several inches, 2 to 6 more inches, additional inches, going down to 2 tomorrow night. Temperatures going into the mid-60s by next week. Houston, Texas is going down to 12 Monday night. Temperatures going into the mid-70s by next week. Okay, Falcon Lake, Texas, going down into the mid-20s. Monday night, back up into the upper 80s, 88 by next week. Boca Raton, Florida has beautiful weather, highs in the low to mid 80s for the rest of this week, but Shabbos highs only in the low 70s. Okay, Harlingen, we'll skip that city. I'm gonna Pakwak, Uganda. That's one of those cities that is a major developing heat wave. Temperatures approaching 110 by Shabbos, and then remaining at 110 Sunday. Temperatures are just going to be very hot. That heat wave starts Shabbos, Sunday, Monday, and continues on after that. Bankwasa, Central African Republic. That's my favorite city. The high today there was the hottest city in the world. The high temperature was 112 degrees in that city. 112 degrees. We definitely, how do we do this? 112 degrees. We're going to get some cheering here. Okay, that was 112 degrees for that city, for Bankwasa, Central African Republic. Also, however, temperatures, so this Saturday night, it's going down into the low 50s. High on Sunday, 109. Low Sunday night, 53. High Monday, 112. Low Monday night, 52. High Tuesday, 113 degrees. Adjumani, Uganda. Major heat wave starting there. Temperatures approaching 110 by Shabbos, and that's going to continue. Major heat wave over there. We have temperatures in Babadinsa, Guinea-Bissau, 107 today. excuse me. Temperatures a little bit cooler over the weekend, but going back up towards 110 by next week. We have an interesting city here. It's Zhengzhou, China. And in this city, lows tonight in the upper 30s. The high today, by the way, was 50. The high Monday. Right now it's Monday over there. The high was 50. High on Sunday next week, 81 degrees. So they're going to get a big warm up just for a few days, and then it gets real cold over there. New Orleans, Louisiana, temperatures going down to 27 degrees. They have a winter storm. 27 degrees Monday night. Highs in the low 70s by next week. Minneapolis, Minnesota going down to 22 below zero. Temperatures warming into the 30s by Sunday. International Falls, Minnesota was 41 below zero this morning. Temperatures going into the 30s by Monday. Galveston, Texas. Galveston, Texas, snow. Winter storm warning in effect for Galveston, Texas. Temperatures dropping into the mid-20s Monday night. Galveston, Texas. That's one of the most humid cities in this country. And then high temperatures going into the upper 60s by the end of the week. St. Louis, Missouri, lows tonight 2. St. Louis, Missouri, total snow accumulations 4 to 10 inches. Lows tonight 2. Lows tomorrow night 0. Lows Tuesday night 3. Thursday night 2. Temperatures going into the mid-40s by the beginning of next week. Oklahoma City, this is just great. Snow, they're getting lots of snow. Monday night low 12 below zero. Temperatures going into the low 50s by the beginning of next week. But Amarillo, Texas, that's one of those cities which is even famous for their continuous contrast in temperatures going back and forth. The temperature, I believe, was already 12 below zero today. And there's snow. They have a winter storm. High temperature today was 6. High temperature tomorrow 8, going down to 2 below tomorrow night. High temperatures going into the right around 60 degrees by next week. In Denver, Colorado, of course, it's the exact same thing for them. Palm Springs, California, temperatures going into the low 90s by next week. Los Angeles, California, highs going into the low 80s by next week. Phoenix, Arizona, it's going to get real warm there. Shabbos through Tuesday, highs in the low to mid 80s, highs between 82 and 86 degrees. Bacualas del Carmen, Mexico. That is my favorite city. Okay. The high today was 48. That's one of those cities where you have a 40 or a 50 degree temperature difference between night and day. It's usually in the 70s or the 80s, sometimes the 60s. But today the high was only 48. Tonight, it's going down to 8 degrees. Tomorrow, a high of 38. Tuesday, a high of 65. Wednesday, a high of 56. Thursday, a high of 50. Friday, a high of 64. Okay, now, Friday night, a low of 40. Shabbos, highs around 90. Low Saturday night in the low 40s. The Saturday high is actually 89. Low Saturday night, 41. Temperatures remaining in the 80s Sunday through Tuesday. But Sunday night going down to 33. Highs Monday, 86 degrees. Imagine that. Lows Monday night, 40. Highs Tuesday, 88. Just quite an interesting city. But here's the hot spot. Anand, India. Okay, now, 98 degrees this Shabbos. 98 degrees. Now, I don't think it's going to be humid. I don't think it will be because there's a large temperature contrast between night and day. So temperatures in the upper 90s this Shabbos, you know, and you know what? The whole week, it was already 94 degrees today. Today is Monday over there, right? Is it Monday? I don't know what it is. Forecast high 94 degrees. Temperatures mid 90s every single day. 94 Tuesday, 94 Wednesday, 94 Thursday, 94 Friday. But Shabbos is the hot day of upper 90s, and it goes back into the upper 90s by the mid part of next week. That's one of the hottest cities that I've seen. And going back over here. Okay, in terms again of the storm system, it's generally the lake effect and the powdery part of the snow. going into the real storm, when you get into the real storm back in the Oklahoma area, the Texas area, they're getting thunder and lightning. And as we mentioned, Albuquerque, New Mexico had a severe thunderstorm warning with a snow squall. Quite amazing stuff. It's possible that I didn't cover everything. I don't really know. But I could tell you that there's a weak low pressure system. I have not heard those words. A weak low pressure system on the Pacific coast. I've not heard of those words, and I've never heard, I don't know when the last time I've heard of that. It's always a strong storm system on the Pacific coast, a weak low pressure system. But we have the coldest air in over 100 years for many places, especially down in the Gulf Coast. And it's hard to do that. It's very hard to do that in this day and age. It's hard to get those temperatures to be that cold, but it is happening. This is due to a weakening in the polar vortex, which was because of a tremendous warmth that took place in the stratosphere in the beginning of January. I am going to wish everyone a good night. Everyone stay safe. There's one thing that should be pointed out, and that is that because it's so cold out, the salt and the treatment they use in the streets will probably not be working as well as it usually does. Maybe it won't even work at all. That takes care of the forecast here. That was 20 minutes long. And AccuWeather says there's a 70% chance that school will be canceled on Tuesday. So we'll see what happens in regards to that. But the one thing we didn't get is that when I spoke about that thunderstorm in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and by the way, can you imagine making a bracha, a blessing on thunder in the middle of a snowstorm?
Always count your blessings and they'll never go away. For thunder and for lightning and the rainbow in the sky. For mountains and for oceans or a river running by.
And all those kids that want to get out to go sledding, but we're not able to do a thing this past year because of the corona.
And no more of the 6 feet in between.
And again, Tuesday, AccuWeather says that 70% chance for snow. I think it's an upside down world. We have bitter cold and snow down in the south. And as we mentioned, it is the month of Adar. We did speak about some of those cities in Mexico, but we forgot to play the Mexico music. So we have to play that. Okay, and the reason why that meteorologist always has such a big smile on his face when there's an Arctic outbreak is because okay, anyways, that takes care of tonight. We're gonna play. It's the month of Adar. Things go crazy in the month of Adar, as we can see in the weather. I've never heard of stuff like this happening before. I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it. This is the first time ever that there's a wind chill advisory in Houston, Texas. It's never happened before. And wind chills are going down to 0 degrees in many of those Gulf Coast states, and that's including Houston. You can't believe it. It's unbelievable. 0 to 5 degrees. Much of Louisiana, it's like this is unbelievable stuff. So, any case, we're gonna end off with a song from Adar. You have been listening to the podcast Weather with Enthusiasm.